Alright, here we are. This is very much an experiment overall, how this actually works. It kind of does, would say, most probably not the best voice quality ever for this, but otherwise it's actually surprisingly nice. It's not like you're going to read very small text with the visor causing considerable distortion on that level of detail, but like moderate text size is quite readable, so should be very interesting overall to also stream with this in the future. And it also looks very nice on the camera, I would think. So let's also show off the new rather large pause this game with, so certainly something a bit different. Need to experiment first with whether the game is actually playable. It's only tested as far as the main menu, so should be interesting. Also apparently, hello there. At least this is again the kind of issue that yes, let's make text colored, so it's kind of having some issues with reading other than hello, which is of course nice. So greetings indeed, and let's see about if we succeed at playing the brewing game with this, or maybe change to Paladro or something that requires only recognizing symbols rather than letters, because that's then the next matter, whether the overall text is readable enough. It is a new fursuit, you are very much correct, and greetings to you all. So it's actually so new that this is the first time that actually using this, so in that respect also it's very new indeed. Hopefully you have had a good evening, and we will gradually see about the game. Beep, indeed, that's quite correct. So let's then see about how we do with the game. It might be that we have to choose game that doesn't require reading that much text, because the main issue is that text has to be quite big to be readable through the visor, because it gives very good field of view, but it also distorts micro detail a lot, so it's kind of like, would not consider this the most readable viewing platform ever. It's not as bad as the Jackal though, which is quite hopeless. Like with the Jackal you can't really see almost anything, would say. Quite like nicely. So let's open the game here and see about whether we can brew some beer. So let's go for new game here, and we can actually read as far as the modes, so this will be interesting. Yep, we are most probably playing something else. It's like can read the letter as far as the top of the text. Let's see. Continue. Brew a beer using the extract brewing method. Alright, it's manageable. The text is kind of kind of like not largest ever, but it's actually manageable. Tutorial objectives: retrieve brew pot small from the equipment cupboard. Yep, this is actually doable, so we are trying to brew beer. It looks much better than was concerned that it would end up being, so it's actually quite alright. Also going to type a random letter and send it to the chat to get rid of the issue with the... There we go, now can actually see the chat at once. Yep. Having sent a random letter to fix the chat, we can actually now do the game proper, so this is actually quite manageable. Alright, yes. So we need to apparently obtain a brewing pot, and alright. Brew pot small. It is indeed small. Alright, now we are holding the pot. Fill the pot with 21 liters of water. Place the brew pot in the sink. Remove the lid, turn on the tap. Don't worry if you slightly overfill it. Good. So we do not have to worry about overfilling. Ah, hello there, Jax. Let's greet you all properly once our brewing pot is in. And how do we remove the lid? Alright, you. Alright, there we go. So let's greet you all properly here. Alright, and push the right button preferably. There we are, and maybe show off also the roundel to the camera. There we go. And greetings indeed to you all, as the fursuit itself in this case generates quite good amount of light of its own. Not using extra illumination, but the paws also are quite brightly colored, so do think they look rather nice just like this. Oh, alright, of course. Let's do that, and we are of course happy to oblige. So let's see about, we do have quite nice bodysuit overall. We can also illuminate a bit more moment to show that off, which of course the fursuit doesn't need quite as much illumination, but it helps with showing off the bodysuit. So there we are, because the fursuit in this case is self-illuminating. There we are, and it has some patterning. It's quite nice with the golden part and the overall patterning. So let's then again move towards the game, and thank you for the redeem. Hopefully also otherwise the protogen is enjoyable enough. We do not really need external illumination for the suit itself due to known properties in this case, but there we are. And let's then continue with the game. Indeed, that was the idea. Especially chose the base suit and the rest to match the new partial. So it's of course very much designed for that. Very pleased this far. Oh, apparently we also have a new follower. Thank you. And of course, indeed is Fursuit. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Very also happy it's a new suit, so been very pleased with it. This is actually the first time wearing it proper. Received it yesterday, so decided to immediately do the kind of introductory stream. So it's been very nice this far. So let's then again continue with the beer brewing simulator. We almost filled up our brewing pot. So let's see about what we can do about brewing beer. Shall we? So then we would want to open the tap. And we do see the temperature of the water and the amount of water. So we needed 21 liters of water, and that is actually like quite slow. We have something like 4.5 liters of water. So that will take a little while to actually fill the brewing pot with sufficient water for brewing beer. So now we have 7 liters, 8 liters. This isn't the fastest thing in the universe, certainly. Yeah, it's actually only 6 liters now, so I have to say that this isn't like the fastest exercise ever. Alright, now we are up to 7 liters. This will take a good while to actually get up to 21, because we can only open and close the tap, so maybe we should invest in like better water mains for our house or something like that, it looks like. So let's then see about now we are up to 10 liters, so 21 liters is quite a bit of course brewing beer using the extract in the first place isn't. Oh, thank you indeed for thinking so, and of course happy to have you here. Always happy to have new viewers join the community. And we are up to 14 liters. It's like apparently one of today's program numbers is what's a protogen filling a brewing pot. So now we are at least up to 16 liters. So and the capacity of the brewing pot is 25 liters, so it's like clearly this will be taking a while to actually fill the whole pot, it appears. Oh well. Alright, and now we are up to 18 liters apparently, so soon we will be up to 21, which of course then we have the right amount of water for whatever will be the next step in our brewing process. So let's see about that. And alright, we are getting up to 21 right now, so tap off, and we have 21.12 liters. Looking good. Alright, let's also of course overall see about what else we shall do next, and it's heat brew pot small on the kitchen hob. Alright, remove the brew pot from the sink and place it on the kitchen hob. Then turn the hob on. Very well. Alright. Retrieve can of malt extract from the freezer. Very well. So we gradually are making progress towards getting some brewing going. So let's then, malt extracts are syrupy liquids packed with fermentable sugars that yeast will eventually turn into alcohol during the fermentation stage. They'll also add flavors to your brew. Retrieve 2 kilograms of any malt extract. Light malt extract, amber malt extract. Of course we do amber. Alright. Retrieve, and we needed 2 kilograms. Not 3 kilograms, but 2. The amount you retrieve shall be 2. Alright. To pour an ingredient, look at the container whilst holding the ingredient and press E. Alright. And now we shall commence pouring. However, the pouring itself is alright. You have to scroll the scroll wheel to pour. There we go. Malt extract has been poured into the brewing pot. And very fractionally we have to rotate it back then, of course, once we have poured. The ingredients cupboard. Retrieve a pack of steepable grain from the ingredients cupboard. Alright. Steepable grains are kept in mesh bags so that they can be added and removed when brewing. They are used in extract brewing to add flavor, body and color to your beer. Retrieve 5 grams of the steepable grains. Alright. Alright, and we have ultra pale crystal and Vienna crystal. Let's use this. So, and we needed 500 grams. Very well. There we go. And then we shall apparently put the bag of grain into our brewing vessel. There we go. Continue heating the brew until the water is boiling. You can use your watch to accelerate time. Alright, and our water is at temperature of almost 20 degrees, so it's not going to boil anytime soon. When do you stream? There is a schedule usually published on the Telegram channel. In this case, did not publish a schedule yet because the new suit was kind of a surprise. But in general, do stream during weekdays, early to late evenings, Central Europe time, and on weekends typically, possibly both daytime and evening Central Europe time. Depends a bit on, so it's kind of like overall varies a bit, but it's usually like 20, starting around like 19 to 22 Central Europe time would be a good general explanation of when to stream. Alright, and our excellent brew has reached only temperature of 22, so we might accelerate time a little bit. Let's push T, and how do we? Alright, with the scroll wheel we can speed up. Apparently we slowed down the time, so there we go. Now we are cooking with gas, so we are up to 30 degrees, 40 degrees. I have to say that our kitchen hob is not very efficient. Alright, now we are approaching boiling point gradually. 92, 95, 97, 98. Alright, back to 1 next time, and there we go. Now that water is boiling, time to add another crucial ingredient, hops. Retrieve hops. Alright, so now it's time to add some hoppiness to the beer. Alright, so we do have retrieve 20 grams of any bittering hops and 50 grams of any British hops. Alright, and we do have Polar Down and Ruggle. Let's use Polar Down, and we needed 50 grams of that. There we go. And then we needed 20 grams of any bittering hops. Marauder or Magnus. Marauder sounds more like worrying. Marauder. So let's utilize that, and then we should have. So let's add hops into our brew. There we go. Alright, so now all the things are nicely floating in our brewing vessel with the clamps. To remove an ingredient pack, look at the pack and press E. Alright. Continue to boil for 10 minutes, then remove all packs and turn off the hob. So it's 12:17, so it would be around 26, 27 that we have boiled our brew sufficiently. Hello, the Art of Chod. Nice to have you here, and hopefully you enjoy the new protogen. So let's then cause sufficient time to pass that our brew has boiled enough, would be the next matter. So let's then make sure to What does the X-ray actually show? Alright, it shows a lot of statistics. Like yes. So we are practically adding bitterness to our beer, and it also is increasing. So yes. And we do have a lot of unfermented sugars because we added the malt extract into our pot. So we need to still spend some time. So let's again speed time up a bit to get to approximately correct time that our should be now about, if it was 16, it should have boiled about 10 minutes. So then we shall remove all bags and turn off the hob. Do think we have boiled it enough. There we are. It's vital to cool the wort before adding yeast. Use the calendar to advance time by a day. Wait until the brew pot is at temperature of 21 Celsius or lower. Is our... Alright, now it's off because the temperature is dropping. So let's drop our extraneous ingredient bags there. Most probably we can also put them in the trash, because do not think we will be reusing any of these, as it's like, yes, we already added these ingredients into our brew. And then, as having this cool by natural convection or whatever would take quite a while, we shall advance time by 1 day. Alright, and now our brew is nice and cool at 20 degrees, so we are safe to use yeast in it. Alright, retrieve yeast. Fermentation containers can be found here. Yes, we are aware of that. Fermentation containers. Retrieve the fermentation container small. Yes. Here we do have the fermentation container, and then place the fermentation container. Place the wort in the fermentation container. While holding the brew pot, look at the fermentation container and press E to pour. Make sure the lid is off. Yes, that's pretty good. There we go. It's of course good idea to remove the lid. Alright, and then we should push E apparently. Alright. And then we pour our liquid into the container. There we go. And then we of course need to put Yeast is used during the fermentation stage to produce alcohol and carbon dioxide. Fair enough, that's usually quite important consideration when making beer. Yeast is crucial to brewing process as it turns fermentable sugars into CO2 and, best of all, alcohol. It will also add its own unique flavors to your brew during process. Alright. Attenuation of the yeast is efficiency, how much of the fermentation sugars it will convert into alcohol and CO2. The remainder will become unfermentable sugars. Alright. For yeast to ferment, the wort must be within its optimal temperature. Outside of this, the yeast will start to hibernate or even die. This is why cooling the wort before adding yeast is vital. Choose one of the yeasts and add it to your inventory. Let's use the British ale yeast. There we go. And then closing the lid will prevent your beer from becoming contaminated during the fermentation process. Pour all of the yeast into fermentation container and then close the lid. Yes, that seems logical. This better be good beer. Indeed, toasters on your screen. How do you like the new protogen? And yes, let's then put some yeast into our brewing container. There we go. Now that the yeast is in, we shall put the lid on and then it hopefully ferments. So let's put that into the trash because it's now empty, and then we put the lid on. There we go. That looks like we have some beer brewing. Use the calendar to wait 15 days. Fermentation is a slow process. Time to use the calendar. Hopefully we make good beer. We'll see. One day, a bit more. $15 days. There we go. Now that the fermentation is complete, it's time for the final step. Whatever that says. Retrieve bag of corn sugar from the ingredients cupboard. Alright, that we can read. Adjunct sugar. Alright. And we do have the pack of adjunct sugar. Adding the corn sugar will allow the yeast to continue fermenting on a smaller scale during the conditioning stage. Alright. And we shall add the sugar to the fermentation vessel. And there we are. Alright, then we need to transfer our beer to conditioning container. Alright, let's throw the empty bag out, and then we need a tube, wherever that is. Conditioning containers can be found here. Very well. Alright, plastic barrel, small. Very well. That's not probably the fanciest conditioning container ever, but it is what it is. So let's then take the conditioning container and follow instructions, hopefully. Then we need the tube. And then we have a lot of instructions to read. Place the barrel on a surface, lower surface than the fermentation container. Alright, that will be difficult because the fermentation container is on the floor. So we need to do something about that soon. So let's then first of all pick up the fermentation container and put it onto the kitchen top. There we go. And what shall we do then? Place the barrel on a lower. Alright, first of all we shall use the barrel apparently. There we go. And then connect the tube between the fermentation container's tap and the top of the barrel. Open the tap. Connect tube. And then we open the tap. Alright, now we have liquid transferring. Both taps have to be open. Quite logical, fair enough. And it takes forever to transfer the liquid, like we have transferred 1 liter. It doesn't even draw the tube, it just draws. So let's speed time up a bit, because transferring the liquid will clearly take a little while. So there we go, and now we are alright. Now we have transferred all of it, so leaving the lid on ensures CO2 do not be lost. Conditioning is another slow process. Use the calendar. Close the barrel's lid, then wait 20 days. Very modest. Is the lid already closed? We have the game paused. There we go. And then we actually can close the tap. Close the tap here and then detach tube. And do we have the lid closed? Appears so. So now it's conditioning, and apparently we can just use the calendar for 20 days. Alright, that's a little bit of wait to get your beer. Indeed it is. Hello there, both of you. And it certainly is a protogen. It's all new, so decided to, of course. We'll show it on the big screen now that we wait for 20 days to actually get our beer to condition. So let's put that in. So we wait 20 days and now we have waited, so we can show off the suit a bit more. So let's then move to the webcam main view, and there we are. Excellent. And indeed, it is a new protogen. And very pleased to have you all here. As said, it's kind of a Fursuit surprise, as had the new suit, so decided to stream a bit for you all immediately with it. Oh, thank you. Indeed, really like the overall. Oh, all right. Let's increase illumination here a bit to show also the bodysuit off a bit more, because the bodysuit is of course also matching the overall theme with the texture and color. So there we go, and now we can also show the forepaws off a bit more. Ah, indeed thought with your general technical leanings. So let's very pleased to have you all here. So indeed, as said, we do have very nice texture also for the bodysuit and some patterns. So there you go. Indeed, it's very shiny. And we can show the paws off really nicely this way also. There we go. Thank you for the reading. So let's then continue with the game again for some time and see. We will be probably raiding some fur in a while, but let's finish our first beer for tonight at least. Oh, thank you, Raven. Very much welcome. Oh. So let's then return towards the game and see about finishing our first beer. There we are, and oh, thank you. Very happy that you're enjoying the overall theme and content. All right, and let's then continue. And we should have now finished beer. Time for all of your work to pay off. Bring the barrel to the tap in the tasting room and give your beer a try. We have a separate tasting room, which implies that we are actually fancy. This might not be the tasting room. Alright, would call this quite fancy. Alright. Our beer went quite dark and had some carbonation, and clarity is hazy. Fair enough. Beer profile. It is indeed very dark. That's not surprising because we used amber malt. So not totally surprised that our beer ended up quite dark. Taste. Malty and sweet. Crisp and clean. And we had very strong malty and sweet overall, and no smokiness at all, unsurprisingly, because we used no ingredients that would have provided us with any smokiness. Aroma flavor notes: caramel, woody, ester, toffee, dried fruit. Alright, sounds not too bad, like, at least it's not very low quality overall, and it's very dark, so looks nice. It's not that hard. It's actually not the worst suit that have even. The visor kind of distorts, but it's quite like alright, would say, as long as the text is moderately large, it's readable. It's not one where very small text would be readable, but different suits have different amount of vision, and it's quite tolerable to adjust, would say. Beer style. American Porter. It was kind of like something between pretty strong ale, strong bitter, Scottish export, English style IPA, a bit less. Alright. And we got pretty much the same notes here. So we were not totally close to any. Packaging screen is where you can name your finished beer, choose its style, and also design a label. If we have only 20 liters of beer, it's not like going to be the largest batch ever, but it is what it is. So we apparently are getting at least some beer out of the equation. So let's see. Beer name. Dark Disaster sounds good enough for this. American Porter. It's at least closed. Belgian bottle would be nice. Do think tulip glass, because it's more of a sweet beer. And then we can edit our label template. Alright. Sure. That has some animal on it. That has a tree. Alright, there's also one with the mushroom and one with the deer. Dark Disaster, to think calls for the deer. And we can adjust about everything ever about the label, but do think that's good enough for our first beer. So there we go. And what we would like to do next. When you're ready, advance to the next season. Congratulations on brewing your first beer. Feel free to experiment further. When ready, move to the front door to advance to the next season. In the next season you'll gain access to more recipes, jobs, and much more. And we apparently also have a bottle of the beer. Can we put it somewhere, like on the table? There we go. There's a bottle of our masterpiece. Would say that this is a bit like the moonshine making game, that it doesn't really teach you quite realistic brewing, but it's close enough that you probably could make beer with the instructions in the game, but it might not be the best beer ever. It's kind of like, it probably won't train a brewer out of you, but it's at least somewhat so that it's somewhat realistic as far as beer brewing goes. $100% off. Yep, at least we have a fancy tasting room. So we should move to the front door to advance to the next season. And let's see how we are doing time-wise. Might gradually here move for the next streamer doing a raid. If depends how long we have been streaming. Alright, about an hour, so let's still continue at least a bit. Advance to the next season. This will end your current season. You will lose any beers you're in the process of brewing, but finished beer conditioning will be unaffected, yes. And we woke up on the front door. The brewer's quarterly can be found on the front deck. Yes. And then we have a letter. These are hard to read in Suit, so that pretty much tells you the overall limit of the readability, would say. So let's see. Greetings, brewer. Which brings me back to your popularity. Alright, complete a job, chef. Very well. Summer edition, new recipes, beer history, American brewing, brewing jobs. At the start of each season you'll find new jobs, recipes and articles in the Brewer's Quarterly. These will be automatically added to your journal and Brewpedia, which will subsequently grow as you progress through the game. There'll be 2 new jobs every season, each offering rewards such as beer tokens, mastery and sometimes special items. You're free to complete one, both or neither. It's up to you, although for this part of the tutorial you'll need to complete at least one. Sure. So that pretty much illustrates the limit of vision in this suit, that it's possible to read the text to that size fine. Each job comes with its own set of requirements that need to be met by your beer in order to complete the job. They also have an optional bonus requirement that grants extra rewards if met. Alright. Track one of the jobs by selecting the Track Job button. Alright, we have sensational, citrus and something. Difficulty, straightforward. Let's try the blue one. We don't know what it is because we don't see the title from the tutorial window. Now that you have a job in mind, let's pick a recipe. Select the Recipes tab. There'll usually be 2 new recipes for each issue of the Brewers Quarterly, which are automatically added to your collection of recipes in your journal. Each receipt shows the required equipment and ingredients, the steps involved, and the estimated final stats of the beer. So let's see then. When doing a job, you'll usually want to pin the receipt that matches the job requirements. For example, the job requires a certain ingredient, you should find a receipt that contains it. Pinned receipts will appear on the HUD, so you can easily follow the steps whilst brewing. Alright. Pinned receipts like tracked jobs can be changed anytime. You can do that in receipts sections of the Brewers Quarterly or in your journal. Each issue also includes beer-related articles which are automatically added to Brewpedia. Great for expanding your brewing knowledge. When you're ready, select the catalog. This is where you can buy ingredients needed for your pinned receipt. Sure. Now we can actually see, so pale ale from extract. And what would be the other one? American stout. Alright, and now we can actually check the jobs. So we chose the dark matter. And what do we need to do? Requirements. Batch size is small. Use the dark malt extract. Alright, so now we know that we need a American pale ale. Most probably won't use. Unlike the stout is very probable to use the. So that would be the correct one to pin. It's like, yes, we were ordered a dark beer and we made a lager. That seems very unfortunate if that would happen. Alright, let's see how we are doing time wise. Alright, we are up to one hour and a bit, so let's still continue for a while and see how we do with the dark beer from extract. So we next need to open the catalog. The catalog is where you can buy, yeah, we know we can buy the pinned receipts. Alright. Here you can see all equipment and ingredients required. Yes. When you purchased all of the required ingredients for your recipe, return to the workshop. It's time to get brewing. Fair enough. So, hopefully we succeed also with making beer again. So, let's then see about let's then see, we don't need to buy any of these, would imagine basic equipment. And then we need steepable grain. And we need different hops. And we need yeast, which we apparently already have. Malt extract we need to buy. Sugar we already have. Alright. You can find delivery box near your front door. That was quick. So let's open the delivery box. Take all. There we go. Follow the pinned receipt to brew the beer that meets the requirements of one of the jobs. If your brew goes wrong or doesn't match a job, don't worry. You can brew as many beers as you like during a season. Experimenting is a core part of brewing. Very well, very well. So, now our overall concept is next to try and brew the beer. So, add 21 liters of water to container. Yes, here's our container. Once again we add water. There we go. And now we need to add again the right amount of water, so we might speed up the time a bit because our tap is not the fastest one ever. So this time we get the water a little bit faster into our brewing vessel. Alright, we are up to 10 liters. Alright, that's a bit excessive. Now it's very full, so let's see how we can reduce water from it a bit. That was a bit much. Pick up, rotate. Alright. Alright, we can rotate it this way. So let's pour a bit out. So now we have 22, 21, 20.98. So now we are pretty much in spec. Alright, and then we add malt extract, dark malt extract, and we add 3 kilograms. Would malt extract be here or in the fridge? This seems to contain sugars and the steeping things, so do you think that the malt extract would then be in the refrigerator? So let's see. Hops, base malts, and we are going to utilize the dark malt extract in amount of 3 kilograms. Alright, and let's put the dark malt extract into the brewing vessel. Looks very sticky and dark, so looks good. And now that we have poured all of it in, let's put this also. The empty can apparently is more useful to put into the bin. Also this one, there we go. And then we shall add I think we already added. So we have to wait that it dissolves. So there we are. And then we shall add steepable grain to brew container, black patent, 800 grams. All right. All right, there we are. There we are. And then we shall heat water until boiling. Alright, now the temperature is dropping and now it's rising, so it should be now on. Alright, and soon our water will be up to boiling. There we go. And then remove this. Alright, and next remove steepable grain. Yes. Add hops for 50 minutes. Cluster 20 grams. Alright. 20 grams of hops and boil for 50 minutes. Very well. Let's boil. And only 20 grams of hops. Alright, wherever the hops are stored. Cluster 20 grams. And then we shall boil for 50 minutes. Alright, so it's 12:52, so it's like it will be 13:42 when we have boiled it enough, so let's speed time again up a bit. There we go. And then we are pretty much up to having boiled for 50 minutes, so let's remove the hops and put that into the bin. And then next step, please add hops. Rugged green 50 grams, boil for 10 minutes. And then we boil for 10 minutes. There we are, and then it's 13:49, so 13:59. We have boiled sufficient time with the second batch of hops. There we are. And then put that into the bin. Next step. Remove hops from brew. Yes, cool water, 20 degrees, transfer to fermentation container. Yes. Now we need to cool it, so turn off and then we need to wait for like 1 day for our thing to cool. So let's wait for 1 day. And now our product has become cooled, so let's pour it into the fermentation container. Looks nice and dark. Alright, and then add the yeast to ferment. Local ale, 150 grams. Alright, a good amount of yeast. Let's do it. And yeast would probably be in the refrigerator. Yes. And 150 grams of it. Right, we already have 2 packages. Let's see how many grams we pour. Alright, the package was 150 grams, so let's bin them, and then next step would probably be ferment at 20 degrees for 15 days, so lid on with the water lock and all, and then we ferment for 15 days. There we go, fermentation commence. And we have fermented, and next step would be add other ingredients, fermentation container, corn sugar 200 grams. So the adjunct sugar goes in. And one package is, let's see how much it is. Alright, we added a bit much, but fair enough. And then transfer to conditioning container. So we need the conditioning barrel. And we need the hose. So there we go. And then we need to connect tube, open tap, and we are transferring liquid, so let's speed time up a bit. That's very logical, Kamu. You just turn the broth off while the beer is brewing. Very logical. So let's then next speed time up a little so that we get all of our beer transferred to the, there we go, all the beer is in the barrel. Close the taps, detach the tube. Apparently the tube also is like, the game is a little bit wasteful because you have infinite amount of the basic supplies, so you can just keep throwing them out. Alright, and how long shall we condition? Condition for 21 days. Beer conditioning, great. And then we shall do the next step on the recipe, which is take, taste and package beer. So let's proceed to our tasting chamber. Alright, it's very dark. It has some carbonation, extremely hazy. Has a lot of roasty and malty flavors. Quite crisp even. Hoppy and bitter. Chocolate, coffee, floral. Clearly we made a stout. Beer style. American stout. Wow, we matched the recipe. Most excellent. Need more fruit. Yeah. We maybe at some point will be making fruit beer. So, tutorial. Some jobs can require you to brew a certain style of beer. To meet the requirements, be sure to select the style here. Though it will need to be one of the top 5 styles to best match your beer. Once you're done with packaging your beer, you can submit it to shop or return to the workshop. If you choose the latter, the finished conditioning container will be placed in the keg rack or cellar for later use. Beer name: Dark Disaster 2. And it indeed is American Stout. We use the Belgian bottle, and let's again choose a label template. The Dark Disaster 2 will also use this label. There we go, and submit beer. Let's see how the job giver agrees. Tutorial: to submit a beer to a job, it must match the requirements. Once a beer is submitted, it will be lost, but you'll get to keep a bottle of it for display. There are several ways to submit beers to jobs. On the jobs page in your journal, by interacting with the finished conditioning container, or by opening the cellar, where you can also view all of your past brews. Requirements: batch size is small, use the ingredient dark malt extract, SRM is at least 20. Alright, so we fulfill all the requirements. We can submit the beer. So let's submit the brew for the job. And brewing mead, that counts. Unsure if this game allows brewing mead, at least beer. Clearly completed. Our second beer completed the job. Alright, and we completed the tutorial, so that's a good start for the game, certainly. Let's see how we are time-wise. We are excellent time-wise. We are exactly at the point where we would be finishing the stream, so looks excellent. Congratulations on completing your first job and finishing the tutorial. What next? That's up to you. You could try out the second job, experiment with other brews, or even decorate your workshop using build mode. When you're ready, head to the front door to advance to the next season and the next stage in the story. Good luck, brewer. So now we save the game, and we can put the bottle of the Dark Disaster 2 also on the table. There's Dark Disaster 1 already waiting. So let's then save game. Stream 1. And how has the audience liked the brewing simulator? Shall we play this also another time? What do you all think? Have you liked the brewing game? Let's also Alright, age for 1 year in wine bottle. Nice. Do know that there are the kind of red ones that are like somewhat red wine type of mead. That's very, very nice. So let's switch to the main screen, and of course we do wish you, it seems that you like the game at least, Jack, so of course we will be keeping the game in schedule, and let's then give you all big protogen paw for good night for today, and we will be continuing with streams later this week, and also publish a program for better information what we will be doing. But this was kind of a surprise stream with some nice brewing, and we will then rate some once we check who's doing what. But now we of course wish you a pleasant rest of the night and hopefully good week, and we shall see most probably on Thursday. We will publish program proper already hopefully today on the Telegram channel. So, and of course the protogen will also return later. So hopefully you enjoyed the introduction of the new suit and have a good rest of the evening. So let's see who's doing what and who we shall raid. Indeed. So let's see who's doing what and who is worthy of our raiding antics. So Lupi is doing art. Kianix Lioness is playing. Let's see what Kianix is up to. They just stopped. Excellent. Alright. We haven't raided Yuna for ages. Let's see what our good paw specialist is playing. Indigo Park. It shows a lion. Very well. Lion looks good. It's apparently some kind of point and clicky adventure with furries. Fair enough. Let's go for that. So let's raid Yuna. It's been a while since we have really raided them at all, so let's see if we typed everything correctly. Not very. Typing with pause is always fun. Alright. That looks better. Alright, let's help the matters a bit by actually copying the username. There we go. So we should be able to succeed this time. If you do not succeed the first time, try again. All right. Our silly protogen is almost succeeding with this, but of course we are not the smartest things ever. Emulate a keyboard. Thank you. We actually typed the name correct, but used the wrong special character. Yes, there we go. That worked very well. Universal HID protocol indeed. There we go. Everything worked after we tried enough, so looks good. And as things look very good, we are now good to wish you a pleasant rest of the night, and thank you for joining the introduction of the new suit. There we go.